Good hot political climate, America. You are watching LFC News. I'm your short-sighted, part-time hooker anchorman, Brandon Blank. Tonight's biggest story is an update on the kibble diet. Once known for its weight loss benefits, now has taken a drastic turn. More on this story later. In global news, are bagels the reason for our existence? A recent study shows us that bagels make up the entirety of everything, being both whole and having a whole with no beginning or ending, henceforth the name Everything Bagel. Experiments on this Everything Bagel find it to be made of literally everything. The scientists behind this experiment stumbled upon this cosmic event while eating breakfast. Quote, "I woke up with the worst hangover and needed sustenance. So I quickly ejected my lock-in butt plug and perused the kitchen looking for bread. I then found it, the Everything Bagel. I slathered it with cream cheese and mowed down. I then started to feel strange, suddenly floating with a godlike power." These were his last words. Since the Everything Bagel is made of everything, it also contained rat poison, quickly killing this so-called god. I think I'm going to stick with my donuts. In other news, a kind man who I chatted with on the street let me into my sister's apartment complex. I then alluded to me stealing cars in the apartment garage. We're now going to cut to Skinwalker meteorologist Keegan Bone on the weather.
Thank you very much, Brandon. What a sincere blessing it is to be the lead meteorologist here on LFC News. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I suppose I'll introduce myself. I am Reginald Cloudsworth, your aviation certified weather correspondent, which means I spend a suspicious amount of time staring at clouds and pretending I understand them. Anyway, one more important thing to note before we begin is the window beside me, the window which I make all of my professional observations out of. Let's begin with today's forecast. Looking outside this morning, we have a strong presence of sky overhead, with scattered clouds drifting about like they've got nowhere better to be. Temperatures today will begin the morning at what experts describe as brisk, gradually warming to somewhat tolerable, and by late afternoon reaching the highly anticipated category of not bad actually. Winds will be coming from the general direction of outside at speeds fast enough to slightly inconvenience anyone wearing a hat like this. For the aviation report, visibility is currently excellent. If you look up, you will in fact see the sky. Humidity levels are sitting at what meteorologists call noticeable, particularly for anyone whose hair has strong opinions about moisture. And looking ahead to tomorrow, our advanced forecasting models are predicting a very high probability that weather will continue to exist. So whether you're traveling by foot, horse, carriage, or the occasional airplane, dress appropriately. Back to you in the studio, Brandon.
I don't know who that is or what that was, but I think Reginald Cumsmouth is really growing on me. Now, we're going to be cutting to Chip Dip with the Wordle.
Hello, I'm Chip Dip, the Wordle bitch. Back at it again. Grinding on that bread, yo. First word, we got think. We got the letter H as in hang. I want to hang myself. Okay, let's see that next word. S-H-A-R-E. Share. Boy, I love sharing, specifically with my ex-wife's dead corpse that's in the ground. We got an S, we got an A, sexual assault in the 3rd degree, just like me last May. Shits, we still got that S-H, but we don't have any T's. Oh boy, oh boy. I can't believe that's an actual word in this dictionary. Oh, and it looks like he's looking for a hint, slowly getting side-eyed by a fish. We're back at it, realizing that there was no hints, tips, or tricks. Let's think of this next word. Maybe S-H, should, could, would. Show. Oh boy, he's trying to guess the word right away. Showed is not a word. Maybe soap. I personally like to drop the soap when I was in prison, but we don't talk about that. He's forgetting the apostrophe. Now it's yours. He got a O now. Let's figure out where it goes. Oh, back to show. Soap. I was just talking about soap when I was in prison. Boy, oh boy, would you be able to make a shank out of one of those? Or a dildo, either one of the two. Pick your poison. S-H-O-A. Now, we're going to guess shoal. Perfect guess. Back to you in the studio, Brandon.
Wow, once again, the world never seems to excite me just as much as Chip Dip's commentary. But congrats on the word anyways. Tonight's hot topic, boy kibble trend gone crazy. This trend has now jumped to greater heights, becoming physically demanding on its participants. These individuals have now started acting more and more like dogs, to the point where they roam outside naked on all fours wearing nothing but a collar. This situation has become so dire that dog snatchers have been instructed by local law enforcement to, quote, get these mangy bitches off the streets. Boy, am I happy I'm only addicted to crack. That looks like that's all the time we have for today's broadcast. Thank you for watching LFC News. I'm Brandon Blank, squinting at signs, working the corner and the teleprompter. And always be prepared to see a sumo wrestler skinny dipping and double dipping.